Come on, let's go. Big feed. It's just a beauty day to get going. Ah, the time has come again. Old Man Winter has put his blanket over the north. The land's transformation from summer is like night to day. Gone away are the warm breezes and vivid colors. Now the air is cold and the wilderness white. It's magical to see nature this way. I can feel the changes deep in my soul, and I have to get out and experience them. A fresh blast of snow in the face, or a long dark evening laid by the fire. The winter highways are open. Lakes, rivers, bogs and barrens. I'll do it by snowshoe and toboggan, along with my companions. This series will show 2 separate month-long expeditions. The first is on the island of Newfoundland, and the second is up in Labrador. Adventure awaits. I'm Justin, and this is Saku and Bear. Come and follow us through the woods. Before the first expedition begins, I spend a couple nights out with the family and share some great experiences on the land. What are you doing, Buzz?
Having a time up in the Labrador tent.
Living the dream.
Living a dream in the woods.
Day 2 of the big journey.
Day 2 of the big journey, yeah.
Hydrating. 30,000? You tracking that on the gadget or what?
Yeah.
How many steps you think, Mom? About the same.
Oh, I'm not talking steps. I'm talking about the work I'm after doing.
Oh, yeah.
Since I came here. Trying to keep the fire going.
It's a full-time job, isn't it?
Full-time job, but it's worth it at the end of the day.
What do you have, Hez?
Anyway, do you know?
Where'd you get the new glasses to?
Chloe.
Oh, yeah? No sec. We're camping in canvas tents. My wife Heather and I have one, and so does the rest of them. Now they're gone, and it's just me, the dogs, and the wilderness. I get at the wood pile and begin to settle into the trip. Speaking of wood, the gathering and processing of it will be an important task. The stove wants to be fed with bone-dry, standing dead wood. We rely on its heat to provide a warm retreat from the bitter elements. It will also dry our gear, cook our food, and be an overall delight to experience. I love the simple, repetitive task of cutting wood. To feel the push and pull of the saw on the arm, and the blow of the axe as it sends 2 splits flying through the air. To stack your work neatly by the fire. You've worked up a heat, and now, after slipping a few junks into the stove, it warms you twice. I make a small repair, one that didn't get attention amongst the flurry of activity back home. Now, with less stress and more time, the job is done. Meanwhile, a fresh roast of caribou slow cooks beside me. The air fills with the fresh aroma of hot spiced meat and the perfume of spruce and fir boughs that line the floor. The Newfoundland interior and its vast, uninhabited nature calls my name. I've thought about this for months. The rivers, the lonely lakes, the quiet, snow-laden forests, and all the rest. From start to finish, we'll cover 130 kilometers. Two areas of interest are the Middle Ridge Wildlife Reserve and the Bay du Nord Wilderness Reserve. They combine for 3,500 square kilometers of protected nature. We'll access them both. They are less disturbed and mostly trackless, so the chance for unique animal sightings, prolonged peace, and greater challenges is increased. All big attractions for me. We begin on February 2nd, 2020, the day after my 32nd birthday. Nice day, guys. Nice day. Hey, Bear. Good day out there. The plan is to explore my devised interior route, then backtrack towards this camp where we'll get picked up. I have 1 month on me. After that, a scheduled flight to an important opportunity awaits, so I must give myself enough time to make the long journey out. For this expedition, I'll be getting familiar with a new mode of travel. To me, long distance by snowshoe and toboggan. It was the traditional form of transport used by the Innu and Cree peoples of northern Canada. The long, narrow toboggans keep the load low to the ground for maximum stability, and their flexibility allows graceful movement along the rolling terrain. In this fashion, plenty of gear can be carried. Our load is a necessary 250 pounds. Now, let's jump into the adventure. I'm here now, moving by snowshoe, pulling a toboggan. Got the dogs with me, Bear and Saku, they're helping out. And we have a canvas hot tent to stay in with a wood stove. There's a month trip planned to head into the Bay du Nord Wilderness Reserve here in central Newfoundland, untouched wilderness. It's going to be a great trip. We're on Berry Hill Pond. Beautiful winter's day, early February, and we're glad to have you with us. We just had a break. I had a fire, boiled a kettle. Temperature's just hovering around -7, -8. That's degrees Celsius. And now we're back on the move across this big lake. It's about 4 kilometers to the other side. Pulling the back sled there, and they were going too fast, they were taking off. And then I just had Beer doing it herself, and she was doing great, but I gave her a break. I put it on the back of my toboggan, and now she's running off. Come on, Beer, there's nothing up there. I don't really mind, but she got these booties on I put on her feet. And if she gets in the deep snow, sometimes they come off. Then I gotta go back and hunt for them. Come on, Bear. Good girl, let's go. So that's it for day one on the move. It's just past 4 o'clock, maybe 8 kilometers covered roughly. We're across both big lakes.
Great Gold Lake, which we're on, has a pile of islands, and we're gonna take refuge right here. Big day for Bear. This is her first long haul, and she was pulling the sled earlier, and now she's tired, aren't you, Bear? Good job today. Good job, Saku. Yes, all kinds of spots in here, but this one here is lovely. Look at it, what a beauty. There's a fair bit of shelter, and there's lots of dry wood back here. I could spend a day here tomorrow. We'll see. I got 30 days, or a little more than that, like 33 or 34 days. So, oh, and I just went down the snow well. So you got to be careful around here. How you get out of this? But it's a beautiful little spot on a big, gorgeous lake. What do you think, Zach?
So I'm beating down an area now a bit bigger than what the tent footprint is, and I'll mat down an area out here, cut some wood and park the sled, and you know, a place where we can tie Bear on. This will stiffen up and we'll have a nice platform for the tent and a good walking area around our campsite.
So it's a little ways past 6 now, almost 2.5 hours to get everything set up, and it's ready for the first match now. This fire is. Two pots of water on the boil, one for supper, one for tea.
So I'm back in the tent now, mid-morning. Got some hot coffee on the wood stove. Fire's ripping away. Everything's within arm's reach here. Wood's right in front of me. Got some books to the side. You gotta love it. So we got hammered with a bit of a storm last night, didn't we, Sack? Hey, Bear. We got everything but the kitchen sink. There was snow and rain and sleet. The wind started picking up around midnight. cut down on my outfit weight, I carry less food with the hopes of putting some fresh meat in the pot. Fish, rabbits and partridge are all fair game this time of year. Today I bait a few hooks and try to invite a trout in for supper.
Let's try to get one that got a bit more life into it now. Hey, Sack? Some of them are a bit dead. Oh yeah, that one's on the move. Little spot to keep the worms nice and warm. Not a big concern in the tent, but when we're out moving from camp to camp, I keep it in my coat pocket. Seems to be doing alright. I slipped up there on the way in the first day. Left them on the sled with the gear and they froze a bit. Anyways, you live and learn. So we're in about 10 feet of water here, just off the side of our little island there. Little tiny thing. It's our second catch. Got a small one yesterday. It's a brook trout though. Maybe a sign of bigger ones. We'll see.
It's a fine February afternoon and the sun makes the white wilderness shine bright. What a joy it is to see the dogs have a bit of fun and run free across the land.
You alright, Bear? Fish down there, had something on. What a morning, boys. What a morning. What a morning. Look at it. It's wide open up on the ridge. The sun's coming up. It's lovely. The moon was just hanging in the trees there behind camp. It went down now. I might go try to get another look at it on the back of the island. But when I came out, it was just up there and it was wicked. Everything's frozen solid now too. It's been warm, cold kind of thing. We had that bit of rain that came with the freezing rain a couple days ago, and there was a lot of slush. But last night it was minus 15 or something. A beauty day here in Newfoundland.
So it's a real calm morning here in the tent. Outside, you can't hear a sound, only the ice rumbling away. But there's a storm coming, I think. They're calling for snow and wind, and that's supposed to start up later this afternoon. So I want to try to get as much ground covered as I can before that strikes. We're back on the move. Now we've left the lakes behind and are climbing a few hundred feet to the top of Middle Ridge. On the other side of it lies the Bay of the Nord Wilderness, and this is the most direct route to reach it. The ridge is just over 1,000 feet, so we should get a fine view of the country from up there.
Back sled brought up solid on a tree.
Ascending the ridge, the snow was crusty and icy, so it was tough to gain traction. The grip of a modern snowshoe with cleats would have been nice, but there was only room for one pair, and the bare paths are far better in the deeper powder of the woods. Throw a few tangles into the equation, and we got ourselves an adventure. So I'm just up on the ridge now, Middle Ridge, and that weather's coming in pretty quick. It's a bit longer getting up a hill than I expected, but there's a thick clump of trees down there. We'll take shelter. It's less than a kilometer away. We're here now, up on the Middle Ridge, the open barrens, and it's beautiful. It got stormy there for about an hour and a half, and it was up and down, and it was kind of difficult. Big load on the back, because I was taking the dog stuff too later on. Bear was pulling it for a bit, but she got tired going up hills, so I put it all on the back of mine. No biggie, we had a nice spot. So, I think that's it for today. Gonna get a bite to eat now. Up on the wide open ridge we can cruise around freely all day, with hardly a tree to worry about. I go from hill to hill and get fabulous looks at the surrounding country. It's worth the trip up here.
So I'm out having a little walk along Middle Ridge, scouting ahead about 3 kilometers. By the end of tomorrow we should be down off the back of the ridge. And I'm just trying to find the easiest way that's level and not so much up and down. And it looks alright so far. So straight on down through there is the entrance to the Bay of the Nord Wilderness Reserve. And we'll be heading on down that way. Home sweet home, boys. Still a faint bit of smoke coming out. I bet it's still warm in there. We were gone for 2 hours. A little warm. That's little vents up on top of the tent. And if it gets, of course, too warm in there, you open them up, or if it gets smoky or something. And there's one on the other side. And if you want to keep it nice and toasty, shut them like that. Or I suppose you could tie them with these ropes too. Whatever you want. I just fold it like that. Good to go. And that's the view out the front door. Tucked in this little hollow. Sun setting behind us. Life is good.
A little later on, Bear's making a racket outside the tent. We got some activity in the front yard. Despite being common in Newfoundland, the northern hawk owl is rarely seen. They're at home in the interior's natural vast bogs and large forests. This experience is a reward for coming to the hard-to-reach quiet places.
All it takes is one pole to snap. There's only a thin sheet protecting us from this very bad day out there.
So we just had a bit of an incident there. It was scary actually.